All right, cool. So kind of a weird angle. My camera just died in the middle of recording, so now I need to charge it. And anyway, it's gonna take a while, and then I'll probably forget what I wanted to talk about. So I'm just gonna film it on my iPhone. I hope this quality is not terrible. I hope it works out. Anyway, I'm making a quick video on, because I get this question asked to me a lot, is how much it costs to start up a laser engraving business. People think it costs a fortune, which is like the biggest. It's not. It does not cost a lot of money. Yeah, sure, you can go buy a, I don't know, $50,000 laser or something that's just a complete waste of money. I don't want to say waste of money depending on what you're doing, but for stuff that I do, and for anyone really watching this probably does, don't need to be spending that much money. So I started with a diode just like anyone else probably did, which I regret if I can go back and change the path, but I also didn't know this was going to be my career. I thought I was buying a laser as a hobby. But if you do plan on like trying to make money with laser engraving, I would recommend getting something decent to start, not some crappy Chinese laser off Amazon with some like weird ass program that isn't going to translate to any other programs you use when you upgrade your laser. But that's a conversation for a different video. Anyway, so in my store I have all Omtech, swear by Omtech. Great customer support too. I just had to deal with them the other day. It was awesome. I wish you guys would watch this. Shoot me a little message or something. But yeah, so I'm not sponsored by them. I just swear by them. I have zero complaints about any of the stuff I've ever got from them. I had Monport before them. Good laser. Customer support was in China, so by the time I got an answer from them, it was always at an awkward, like a week later sometimes, and then they would Google translate it from Chinese or whatever it was into English, and it didn't translate very well. So a lot of it wouldn't make. Anyway, great lasers, but just the customer support wasn't there, and running a full laser business, I need some good communication back and forth, because if something goes south with my machine, it needs to be fixed like right away, or I need an answer right away. Anyway, so every laser I have in my store is a 100-watt CO2 laser, a 50-watt fiber, and a 20-watt fiber. Now, people will come in and be like, oh man, like this must be a lot of money worth of stuff, and this, that, and the other. And the CO2 laser, I think, was like, and granted, I'm not saying this is cheap, but I don't think it's what people think it is. I think this was around $5,200 for my CO2 laser, which is like I said, Omtech 100-watt. And then you have my fiber lasers. The 20-watt was maybe $2,300, and then the 50-watt was might have been around $5 also, or like maybe mid-4s. So altogether, that's 5, 9, I don't know, like 11 grand. And it's not necessary to have all that. I just have a 50-watt and a 20-watt because I kind of panicked when I was running it out of my garage and I started growing, and then people were asking for things that I didn't think I had the capability of doing. So I upgraded from a 80-watt CO2 to a 100-watt, and then a 20-watt fiber to a 50-watt fiber. So now I just have all these lasers. But it's not necessary. You can run a laser engraving business off. I think if you want to start a laser engraving business, you should have one CO2 laser and one fiber laser, because then you cover just about everything. I don't think that you need anything more than a 20-watt fiber, and I don't think that you need anything more than like a 60 to 80-watt CO2 laser, also depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, I'd say 90% of stuff can be covered with either of those two. So you have fiber for the metal stuff, and you can do some other stuff on there. Like I do leather on my fiber laser. I do some tumblers on my fiber laser. I do leather shoes on my fiber laser. And my CO2 is obviously for all the wood and some leather things, and most tumblers and glass, and those two cover literally everything. So essentially, if I didn't start in my basement and then move to my garage and then move into the store, if I were to just get a store and buy lasers for it, the startup would probably be around like if I just got the minimum one of each, you're probably looking at like $6,000-7,000 to start an entire business of laser engraving. 1 second. JH Customs. JH Customs.
Buy the wine glasses and bring them to you, or do you have glasses there?
You have to buy the wine glasses and bring them to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
The only thing I ask with the wine glasses is sometimes if like people get like the cheap ones, they're kind of like really thin, like champagne flute style. If you know what I'm talking about, how it's like really thin. Yeah. So those just don't etch well at all.
Okay,
so if you could just
want like a thicker one.
Yes, exactly. Just one of the thicker ones.
Okay, great.
Cool.
All right. Thanks so much.
No problem. Take care.
Bye.
I'll leave that in there too, just for you guys to see. It's kind of like a regular call. Not pausing and editing this video, so I'm not gonna remember where I just left off a couple seconds ago. But I was talking about the laser price. Yeah. So other than like the overhead, which like rent and stuff like that, which most people just starting, I don't think is just gonna buy a laser and open a store. Obviously there's a lot to learn, and majority of people who buy lasers try to sell their own things on Etsy, which I've made videos on. I hate Etsy sellers. I'm an Etsy seller, but I do hate Etsy sellers. No, I worded that wrong. I hate people who make YouTube videos or content about Etsy selling and say that it's easy and anyone could do it and blah blah blah, because anyone watching this who's done it knows that's bullshit, and it's extremely hard to do and extremely rare that you actually have something that sells a amount that is actually worth selling, instead of selling one item every month for $15. But that's also a whole other thing. But yeah, so if I were to recommend from the start, if you plan on doing this, get a decent laser. Don't buy any cheap diode laser. Like if you're doing this, plan on sticking to it. Don't buy, like, invest some money into your first laser so you don't have to buy a $100 laser, then a $500 laser, then you're like, oh shit, all right, I need an $800 laser, then you're just gonna end up spending the amount of money you would have spent to begin with on a decent laser. Definitely a recommendation. It's something I would have done differently if I knew this was going to be my career path. Also, I like you see, I take people's items. I don't really sell things here. I don't have the biggest store, so I can't stock too much stuff. But one big thing is learning settings if you're going to accept people's stuff. I mean, like this lady's wine glasses that I just spoke to. Obviously, I have settings for glass, so I know. But some people will bring like different types of leather or just completely random things that it's like, wow, I need to figure these settings out my first attempt, because there is no more attempts, because I don't stock these, so I can't mess it up, grab another one, and then do it the right way. Like, it's my one and done. I do, which I recommend, is, I don't know if I think I can curse on YouTube. I have what's called the fuck up fund, which is like if I mess something up, most of the time I really won't replace it if it's not really my fault. Like the other day, the lady brought a $250 putter in. She wanted the face of it engraved. I said I probably shouldn't do the face of it, but she was like, I really want it done, so I went for it. A lot of times underneath the rubber or whatever's on the face of a putter is metal, so normally you can, it's kind of like a tumbler, you etch through the outer layer and then you'll see the metal underneath it. It was like thick rubber or whatever a putter is made out of. So it didn't work out. It just like melted the front of it, and really, like, I could have been like, hey, I'm not, like, I told you no and you wanted me to do it. But went into my fuck up fund, grabbed out $250, bought her a new putter, because I was like, I'm the professional, I should have known that. I should have completely said no and not done it. I went and bought her a new putter. I did it on the top of it where I wanted to do it. Gave it to her. So really, like, I lost a lot of money on that job, but keeping the customer happy is kind of priority, as long as they're not some arrogant Karen just being nasty. She was an absolute angel, absolute sweetheart. She felt bad. She was trying to give me money, and I was like, no, don't worry about it. Like, it's part of the game. So accepting things is risky. That rarely happens now, luckily. But throughout the years, there's been some I've spent a lot of money on buying people stuff that I completely torched from lack of experience. But like I said, now, like, luckily everything's, I'm not perfect, but I got it down to really not messing everything up. Yeah, so anyway, I don't want to just be babbling too much. I know some people get nasty in the comments and say, yeah, you're yapping. Yeah, then shut up, go to a different video. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Just quick video. If you guys have any questions, you guys can call me. I mean, I take some of your calls. I don't want 100 calls throughout the day asking questions, but I don't mind getting a couple calls if anyone has any quick questions. My store information is on my website. You can give me a call. It's just me here, so it'll be me taking your call. Or you can send me a message or an email, or just leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to help. I don't mind helping people with this stuff at all, or just giving some advice or direction on things that I've done. Not that I'm saying the Microsoft of the engraving world, but I've done it, so I'm happy to give some info, because there's stuff that I wish I knew before I started, and there just wasn't any videos on YouTube talking about it. It was just people saying, this is how you make $1,000 a day. Post a cutting board on Pinterest or something. Yeah, so I'm just trying to give real content and really how it's like. But like I said, comment. If you could subscribe, I definitely, I'm very thankful for everyone who's been subscribing to me and liking and commenting and all the positive stuff on here. So if you can keep it coming, I'd be very happy with that. And that's pretty much it. Take care. See you in the next one.